Welcome to the Keenan Lake Show on SIBN Radio. Keenan Lake is the author of the book My Daddy Taught Me That, published by Welcome, a social worker and activist. You can like the show's fan page at www.facebook.com/The Keenan Lake Show on SIBN Radio. Feel free to post any comments, questions, or requests for his book on the fan page. Now let's go into the studio with your host, Mr. Keenan Lake, and co-host, Marcus Select.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Keenan Lake Show live and on demand on SIBN Radio. Thank you so very much. Keenan Lake, how are you doing today?
Coach, I'm doing wonderful today. I'm happy to be here today, and today's a special day for me. In fact, today is my father's birthday. So,
oh wow!
So it's a good day for me here. Had a good day today, and everything's going well.
Wow,
Thank
man.
you for asking.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. So what's our topic today, y'all? Y'all that's listening in, y'all listen up, because we got a hot one for the day. Keenan, what's our topic for the day?
Well, today, Coach, I want to discuss relationships and also, relationships between men and women, and also marriages in this country. I've been getting actually a couple of folks on Facebook and a couple other social media sites hit me and said that they really wanted to hear our take, Coach, on the Keenan Lake Show about this topic. So I figured it would be a great day to do that. Mm-hmm. So what I want to talk about, Coach, real quick is this. I was actually looking at a couple of sites and a couple of things on the internet, and what I wanted to really ask you was, and you know what, because you have so much experience, Coach, and you have so much knowledge. But what I wanted to talk about was this: in our country, I was looking to say, and this was put out August of 2013. It said between 40% and 50% of all Americans, this is not a specific race, but it said all Americans in our country are divorcing at the rate of 40 to 50%. But I want to read this particular piece to you, Coach, and to the listeners there. It says, in the African-American community, it has the lowest marriage rate in America and the highest out of wedlock. The highest out of wedlock, which is childbirth rate. But then it talks about, if you skip down, it says our divorce rate went up to 48%. In addition, black women have the highest chance of their first marriage ending within 10 years at 47%. So, Coach, I just wanted to find out, and I don't have the answers, so to speak. But what's the disconnect, Coach? What do you see the disconnect between us as men and women, and also between us as African-American men and our African-American women?
Keenan, you always bring the heat, bro. You know what I'm saying? You should play for Miami or something. You know what I'm saying? Because really, you always bring the heat. I mean, I think it always goes back to what you've always said, Keenan. That's why you have the show. Men and women relationships strained by men not being there, and women in some cases chasing the men away only because they never had a father there to represent what a man should be, for one, and two, either they bring or attract to themselves the men that they detest. And what most people don't know is that if you don't process the mess you just came out of, you attract it right back to yourself, because that's the only thing that you know. But getting to the core of the question, I kind of think, Keenan, and I know this is going to be like a long shot, but I kind of think that African Americans have not been free very long, maybe 4 or 5 generations, if that. And I kind of think that we have a lot of exploitation of African American women in particular in this country. I mean, that's just my personal feelings. I mean, you don't really want to get the embers really burning, because I really feel that as loyal as African American women are to their workplace, as loyal as they try to be to their children, to their homes, they have been exploited through the various laws, through the various prejudicial and sexist discriminatory practices, and we have been caught in the thicket of trying to earn a dollar and pay the bills, not realizing that the methods that we have been traveling are intertwined with yet our past. And for the men, we as men don't make it any better for our women. I'm just keeping it real. Because at the end of the day, we are the responsible person that God is going to hold us, in my view, accountable for what happened in our families respectively. My family, you for your family, and on and on. So, I mean, and that's what I like about the Keenan Lake Show. You can ask one question and trace the quilt of the issue back to fathers in the home. And I think, this is just me, that the structure of us coming out of slavery was a hurry up to get back to keeping the black man in a particular place, whether it be prison, whether it be unemployed, whatever, what have you. We know a certain percentage of them are going to rise up, but let's keep the women loyal to the workplace and give them more benefits than the African American. You don't want to get me to go there, but I think that those stenches from our past yet hold us, because we have not always had an honest conversation about why am I struggling in my race or in my region or in my home or my community so much. And that's just my take on it.
Coach, I greatly appreciate that, and that was very well said. And in fact, you kind of stole my answer, man. I mean, I was ready to, you kind of took some of my answer, but I think you're absolutely right, Coach. As far as, we did a show, a couple of months ago, actually about a month and a half ago, the Willie Lynch letter. We talked about that. Mm-hmm. We talk about, and I think you're absolutely right. If you listen and you follow the Keenan Lake Show, certain things that we talk about, it coincides and it leads up to one topic or another. Mm-hmm. And Coach, you hit the nail right on the head when you stated about, our ancestry. Mm-hmm. When we look at that and we think about the Willie Lynch letter and what that did, there was a little insert that I read out of that letter which talked about how they were going to separate the women from the men and separate the men from the women and thus causing a rift. Mm-hmm. But then giving the women more so leeway by removing the man, or giving the women more so authority by removing the man. So I think when you look at it from that standpoint, Coach, you hit the nail right on the head once again. Whereas because we were separated in that time frame, it's caused a lot of problems in today's society. And because of, and I don't want to put it all on the whole slavery piece, this and the third, but I think when you have those things that are going on, that are
is that you or me
put and implemented into a process, then you have a lot of problems that we're dealing with now. With that said, Coach, this is my take on it. Coach. With that being said,
sorry about that. That's the studio line. Sorry about that.
Oh, okay. No problem, Coach.
I was like, what in the world is that? Okay, Keith.
So with that being said, Coach, this is the thing this is something that I heard, and this is probably about maybe 4 or 5 months ago. They said something to the tune that because of the way men are headed, because of where men are headed, and when I say men, I'm specifically talking about African American men now, and where African American women are headed. They were saying that the women are so much more educated, being trained in the job field, being, so much more ahead of the African American male, that the disconnect is this. And what they said was that African American women no longer need African American men, and the only thing that the women need in the men is the strength of the black man when it comes to sexuality and stuff like that. But as far as intellectually, as far as physically, as far as intellectually, emotionally, they don't need that. The African American male is not needed. So when you think about it from that text, it just puts all this into perspective as to why there's such a difference in the context between the African American male and the African American woman, and where we can't seem to be on the same page.
No, because as you said, and as you say almost in every show, you pick up if you were a fireman and the African American community was a burning house, you show up for work every week. because something is always burning and engulfing the entirety of our existence, and from recidivism, the continuation thereof, to capitalistic exploitation. And so while we don't place the total blame, the total system is to blame for systematic issues, but the total person must be the blame for personal and empowerment issues, by which when you hear a show like the Keenan Lake Show and others who are out there propagating the truth over a lie, because lies bring us comfort and truth brings us aggregation and irrigation and aggravation, then when you hear shows like this, now you're responsible. You're responsible to work where you are with what you have. You can't do anything really about the system, as you always say. We talk about the system, the political system, the economic system, the African American, the race system, but we can't do anything. I think what you're saying is, in every show, is that we can't do anything about those things until we ourselves pick up our batons and say, you know what? There's a lot of young ladies listening to me right now. They're dealing with boys. Okay, so what will you do different to help those boys relate to girls? And in some cases, the women, though they are stretched thin, don't always have the capacity to give those boys what they need. Hence, again, why the Keenan Lake Show and the men's program on Keenan Lake, MyDaddyTaughtMeThat.com, and the book and all that, has been pointing the way, saying, listen, we don't want you to be alone in this. Here's a couple of resources. Let's talk about the issues, and you've brought guests on. So that's what this show is all about. We're not going to be able to do much with the systematic issue, where black men are not relating to black women. You don't want to get me started on that, and I don't want to get you started on that, because that alone continues to perpetuate what the system has already initiated. I felt some push me right there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying, Keenan? So, I mean...
I do, Coach. I understand exactly what you're saying. In fact, when we come back from break, Coach, I want to give you another scenario as to what this can all come from. So when we go from a break, I'll actually elaborate on that a little bit more.
Yeah, don't forget, you guys can follow Keenan Lake on Twitter. Keenan, give him that Twitter one more time as we get ready to go to commercial break.
The Twitter is the KL Show.
All right, we'll be right back after the break. Responsible, accountable. Who taught you that? My daddy taught me that. That's right, the new book, all the way from Asheville, North Carolina, representing the legacy of Benny Lake, is Keenan Lake, the author of My Daddy Taught Me That, the book and the program for young men in Asheville, North Carolina, and throughout the region. Tune in to the program, the project, and the book at MyDaddyTaughtMeThat.com. For more information, email lake@MyDaddyTaughtMeThat.com or call 828-582-2261. That's 828-582-2261. MyDaddyTaughtMeThat.com. Hardcore motivation, baby. Daily inspiration, sugar. Spiritual foundation, brother. That's what you got to have when you're rolling with the coach on DCC. We offer it every day, Monday through Sunday, man, right there at www.415-96radio. That's right, www.415-96radio. Hardcore motivation, daily inspiration, and your spiritual foundation from the coach. Y'all got to tune in. Follow me on Twitter at SelectUSATV. Come on, Instagram followers. Thank you so much. Follow me there at SelectUSATV. And don't forget Facebook.com at SelectUSATV as well. And we have a show page. Don't forget the Coach's Corner on SIBN Radio on Facebook. Whatever you do, tune in. Hardcore motivation. Tune in. That's what's up. We're back here at the Keenan Lake Show, live and on demand, hot and ready to go, talking about marriage, relationships, and relationships in general between men and women. Keenan, you were saying before the break. Keenan, are you there? Alrighty. Let's see what's going on here. All right, let's go to another commercial break and make sure that we got him on the line. Check.
Corners Daily Show. Now airing at www.415-96radio.com for hardcore motivation and daily inspiration. Tune in. That's www.415-96radio. That's www.415-96radio.com. Our students are elated, excited, ecstatic about the Select USA TV Mobile Tech Academy. Every week, we travel to our Mobile Tech class site and we instruct our students, first grade and up, how to use the internet for wholesome and positive purposes. We are excited about bringing the Mobile Tech Academy class to you. We want you to call 404-910-5019 for more information or email us globalcoverage@selectusatv.info. You will not be disappointed when you book your class, which is reasonable and affordable, at your location. The Mobile Tech Academy curriculum is tailored to your vision, your objectives, and your mission. When our students are finished learning at your facility, they're able to report on your news. They're able to photograph your events, and so much more. Why don't you call today, 404-910-5019, to get more information, or email us at globalcoverage@selectusatv.info.
All right, we're back with Keenan Lake right here, live and on demand. Keenan, are you there?
I am here, Coach.
Yeah, we had some technical difficulties. See, when you talk about a hot topic, you burn up the wires. You were saying before the break.
So, Coach, to elaborate a little bit about what you were saying a little earlier as well, and this is actually another scenario as to why perhaps there's such a disconnect in Americans, families, and relationships across the country, but also primarily in the African-American community. And, we've been talking about this single-parent phenomenon, primarily with the absence of male fathers and male role models in the home. And, Coach, I think you spoke on this a little earlier, but when you think about this, when you think about the dynamics of not having a father and being raised as even a single child, be it male or female, that definitely impacts the entire influx of parenting and childbearing and raising children. Mm-hmm. So if you have a situation where you've been raised and you don't have both parents in the home, then you get that one-sided view, which can also in turn cause you to have jaded and swayed views, and that can also play a part in the disconnect. I think you mentioned it earlier, Coach, when you talked about women who don't have fathers and the impact that has on women. It also has an impact on young men, is how they treat women as well.
I mean, Keenan, you say it every week, and I hate to be a dead horse dead again, but I mean, you say it every week. Congratulations to the fact that you always stay on task. You're always on task about this topic. And I mean, let's face the music, okay? If we sow a seed for apples, apple trees will come up, and apples will be born on the tree branches. If we sow seeds for oranges, a tree will come up and oranges will be on the branches of that tree. So African American community, women and men respectively and individually as well as collectively, have to understand that we reap what we sow. And we can't blame the system for what we ourselves hold the power to change. And we obviously have the power to change. You can look at the hip-hop movement. You can look at sports, how we've infiltrated sports. I remember just a few decades back, it wasn't a black quarterback. Didn't mean to make that rhyme, but since I got everybody's time, there it is. So we know how to make inroads within the system. I think what you're trying to say and what your shows is about is calling us to the carpet, no matter how hard we work or how less we have worked, to say, listen, unless we take personal responsibility for what's ours, what's in our hand, there can be no change. And then we can't blame someone when the consequences come down, because sometimes, as a biblical proverb does say, sometimes, Keenan, consequences will skip a generation or two. and hit the generation that's now doing the things that is right. What's up with that?
Exactly.
But you know what? That scripture points to the fathers. The sins of the fathers are visited upon the children of the third and fourth generation. Well, what happened to the first and the second? Everything seemed to be like they got away with everything. Everything seemed to be cool. But here come the third and fourth generation now paying for the first and second generation's mistakes. And so what we've got to do, Keenan, back to what you've always said in all your shows, a lot of women out there are overburdened. A lot of men out there are copping out. It's the truth, and the truth hurts. Being overburdened hurts, and men copping out hurts because it's a lot of successful men. I'm not talking about men in jail. I'm not talking about just men on the street corner. It's a lot of successful guys out there who just cop out and say, you know what, I don't have nothing to do with that. That was when I was a kid. But we're all intertwined. We're all connected, Keenan. And kudos to your program, your show, for talking and bringing this topic up, probably the elephant in the room. We've been thinking about it, but we haven't said anything about it. You know what I'm saying? Thanks to those who have been tuning into your show that wanted us to talk about it, too.
Right. And, Coach, this is the thing, and I greatly appreciate the comment that you just made, because I think you're right on the button. But what I want to do, too, Coach, is take a little time, too, and in a minute or so, I'm going to have a guest speaker call in, and this guest speaker is actually going to be my mother. And so what I want to talk about, Coach, and before she does call in, if we can, I want to find out ways we can solve this. Because, Coach, this is the thing, I was actually talking to a friend of mine a couple days ago, and she was telling me that there are no more good men. There are no more good men, and the men that she's, and you hear that. That's like a cliche. You hear that so often. But then you start to hear from these men that there's no good women out there. So, and that can't be true. That can't be true. So, how can we fix this thing, Coach? What ways is it out there that you see that we can kind of get past this whole disconnect and get back to being loving towards one another, and then being able to uplift one another instead of putting each other down or causing the friction between the relationships that we have?
Let me tell you something I learned about myself. And whenever someone asks a great question, if you don't know all the answers, you can always use yourself for an example, right? Let me just say something about myself. And for those women out there, I want you to hear me very good. Those guys out there, I want you to hear me very good. If I wanted to solve a problem in my life, here's how I handle it. I look inside of me. And I look inside of me for several things. One, what do I have around me? Because whoever I have around me is a result of my interest and my desire. I can say all day, well, that person is no good for me, but I attracted them to me because there was something in me that attracted them to me. And the sad part about a lot of our relationships is that we're not honest, Keenan. What we could do about this situation is, first, we have to be honest, and honesty hurts. I'm not talking about honest with a clergyman or honest with a bishop or a rector or a priest. I'm talking about personal honesty and personal integrity while we look inside and find out, why is there a mess around me? Why am I divorced? Why am I in this situation? Yes, we have cause and effect. Yes, we have other people that we hook up with that have problems, but we attracted them to us. What is it about me that say you can kick me in my tail? I mean, that's just how it rolls out. The bully keeps bullying until the person being bullied stands up. And so what we could do about it, first thing, personally speaking, again, as we say in the show, I've got to be honest that all of this that's happening around me is not the other person's fault. Part of this is my lust or my desire or my lack of discipline or my lack of ignoring the warning signs. Once I'm honest, the second thing I have to do, I have to forgive my offenders as well as myself. These two things are two of the hardest things in the entire process. But I'm sure, as your mother would testify, that if you're going to be in any relationship, forgiveness is going to have to be a part of it. So you might as well practice it while you're single, because when you hook up with your knight in shining armor, when you hook up with your knight in shining armor, you still going to have to forgive. You see what I'm saying? I'm glad when your mom called in, because she know about forgiveness more than we do. You know what I'm saying? Because she stayed the task. You feel what I'm saying, Keenan?
I definitely hear what you're saying, Coach. And I think that you, again, thank you very much. You hit the nail right on the head. Yeah. Coach, I think, what I would say is this. We've all been in relationships. Mm-hmm. And the thing about it is this. In any relationship, it's hard work. I mean, you got to put in work. And sometimes we fall short. Sometimes, but I think it's a couple things you said. One of the things is forgiveness. Being able to forgive not only the other person but yourself, because there's no blueprint to relationships. There's no guide that says you go out and pick up this handbook or this guide and you get it right. So and also understanding that we all are flawed. We all have our flaws. Mm-hmm. We all have our issues that we need to overcome and work out. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person or that you need to go see a psychiatrist or whatever. But everybody who walks this earth has situations and issues that need to get resolved and perhaps even looked at and helped. So that's one thing. But the other thing, Coach, that I want to say, for the most part, is being able to say this: if whatever relationship that you're in, be it male or female, knowing that you're worth more than just settling for something that is not true. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is this: no, for all my women listening to this, don't let any man put you down and tell you that you'll never find better than he is, or that he's the best thing that ever happened to you in your life, and you should be thankful and glad, and vice versa. Man, don't ever let no woman tell you that either, because the thing that I've learned, Coach, is this: we all have great gifts, we all have great attributes to offer, and just because a person, and when people do that to you, when people say that to you, that's a form of abuse and neglect, and that's a form of their self-conscious and their insecurities as well, projecting that on you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that. I like that, because here's what happens. Folks say, I'm going to have a new start. I'm getting rid of him, I'm getting rid of her, and they're going to have a new start. But what they don't realize is that if you don't process what you just been through, you're going to go through it again. You will only create the same scenario that you just came out of if you don't cleanse and learn from the scenario that you were in. And these are the hard truths about relating, because then when you get into a good relationship, what happens is the good man or the good woman pays for what the last man or woman did. And see, when we understand, and then Keenan, on top of that, now the kids and stepkids and steppity kids have to pay for what grown folks can't handle. I mean, before you know it, Keenan, you look up and it's a circus. It's Barnum and Bailey at best. And so I like what you asked that question, getting back to that question real quick before that caller calls. You said, is there any good men out there? There's no good women. Well, you only get what you can perceive. If you don't think that there is no good women out there, then you're going to get just that. And how to change that is you have to see what you want in the future. If you don't see any good men out there because of your experience, I'm gonna bring that caller on in. Keena, hold on one second. Let's bring this caller on in, because she'll put the cream. Miss Lake, how you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Oh, I'm so glad that you called. Keenan, your mother has finally called. We can just sit back and get the wisdom of the matter for real.
Oh, I don't know about all that, but...
Hello, Mother. How are you?
I'm doing okay.
Yes.
So, I want you to stand by, because Coach Follett was giving us a final thought, and then I'm gonna fill you in here in just a second, okay?
Oh, I lost... When Miss Lake called, I lost all train of thought, Keenan.
Okay.
All right, Ma. So listen, what I wanted you to talk about, Ma, thank you for calling into the show today. What I wanted you to talk about was, and to all the viewers listening, we're talking about relationships, Ma. We're talking about, the disconnect between males and females and relationships that don't work out. But I wanted you to be a testament on this day, primarily for one, because I'm so proud of you and Dad for the lengthy relationship that you guys had, and the 36 years of marriage that you guys had. But also, I wanted you to give your wisdom and insight on what worked for you and how you and Dad maintain that. So the floor is yours, Ma.
Okay. That's a lot to just put in a couple of sentences, 38 years, it's a lot of tweaking and a lot of respecting each other, a lot of arguments, of course, and when you have two people who are different, somewhat like the same, but are different, two different people, you're bound to have some friction there, But the main thing that your father and I did, we respected each other. We never put each other down. We always tried to lift each other up, always. And, you get mad at each other, and sometimes you say things, but in our hearts, we loved each other, we respected each other, and we always put God first. That's a lot of things people leave out their relationships, is God.
Wow. That's good stuff right there, Keenan.
It is. It is.
Okay, we both sitting here like, what do you say to that? But you know, Miss Lake, one of the questions that I want to ask you as a follow-up, a lot of the kids are not being taught to respect the opposite sex, let alone themselves. So how do we bridge the gap for what is not being taught on a wide cultural span to the fact that this is still going to be needed in a relationship?
Well, it starts at home. You respect your parents, you respect your elders, you respect other people, especially if they're respecting you, and then, you grow to have that respect. It just doesn't come when you get married that you just automatically start respecting each other, It starts at home. If a child is cussing his mama and daddy out every day and cussing his teachers out and his peers and other people out in the street, that's going to take to the home when they get married. He's going to cuss his wife out. Wow. So this all starts at home. And thank God that my parents taught me. I'm from the old school. We were raised, you better respect your elders. It doesn't matter who it is down the street. You respect them. And that's how we were raised. And if they saw us in the street, cussing somebody or doing something, you can believe they didn't just go home and tell our mothers and fathers. They dealt with it, too. Right. The neighbors that saw us doing it. Right. So that's from the old school, that we need more of that. Wow. More people get involved. When they see people, disrespecting people, you can tell that person in a nice way, hey, that's not the way to talk to somebody. But nowadays, people are afraid to speak up because they think they're going to get cussed out too, and many of them do. But you've got to take a stand. You got to start somewhere.
Wow. All right, Mom. Well, listen, I really appreciate you tuning in and giving us your insight, man. That's some of that wisdom that I was raised with.
Okay. Along with some biscuits and gravy that you've been holding out on, Keenan.
The next time you up this way, Coach, I'll make sure you get a good meal.
I'll behold you to it. I'll behold you to it, okay?
All right.
There was something the Coach talked about, and that was forgiveness. That's very important in a relationship. You have to forgive each other. You're going to make mistakes. And if you don't forgive each other, it's just like the Bible says, the Lord wants us to forgive other people just as He forgives us as well. So that's very important. You can't move on until you forgive that person, or you're going to be holding grudges and you're going to wake up mad at them, and, so you do have to forgive. That is an important part of it.
And I would also elaborate and piggyback on that to say you also forgive yourself as well.
That's the hardest part right there.
Yeah. I would also say to forgive yourself as well. Well, Coach, we did it again, Coach. I don't want to overshoot and overgo our stay today.
Man, I'm ready to go for the bonus hour. What you talking about? Hey, let's take a commercial break and then we'll come back and wrap it up. All right, stand by.
All right, Coach.
You're listening to the sounds of your lifestyle improvement station.
Hi, Jamaica Chapel, College Park, Georgia, in the house. You're listening to SIBN Radio.
Hi, this is Ted Bones calling from Richmond, Virginia, and you're listening to the Lifestyle Improvement Station, SIBN Radio. Y'all turn it up now.
Hi, this is VJ Washington calling from Atlanta, Georgia. You're listening to the Lifestyle Improvement Station, SIBN Radio. So turn it up.
Hi, my name is Sonia Claiborne from East St. Louis, Illinois, by way of Columbusville, Missouri. You're listening to the Lifestyle Improvement Station, SIBN Radio. Turn it up.
What's good? It's your boy Joe coming from Snellville, Georgia. You're listening to the Lifestyle Improvement Station, SIBN Radio. Y'all turn it up.
You're listening to the sounds of your lifestyle improvement station, changing the way we live. SIBN FM, powered by Select USA TV. SCGPW. That's right. The Select USA TV Collabo Media Groups and Partners Worldwide for a limited time has opened up its membership to the general public. Now you can collaborate worldwide with media conglomerate SIBN Television and Radio. If you want to join free of charge for this limited time offer, then visit www.WeSupportSelectUSATV.com. That's right, we have programs, benefits, service, and so much more to offer to our members exclusively at SCGPW. That's right, visit www.WeSupportSelectUSATV.com. That's www.WeSupportSALETTEUSATV.com.
All right, we're back here, man. The Keenan Lake Show, man. It's hot. It's hot in the kitchen, man. Loving yourself and embracing the love that God has for you, Keenan, is the hardest thing in the world. I mean, a lot of people think it's easy. But it's accepting the fact that ain't nothing you can do about chasing God away. He ain't going nowhere. Our arms are too short to box with God. He loves us, even though he wants us to grow and change. And I think that might be the bottom line to how to love yourself. You're going to make mistakes, as you said earlier. You're going to fumble the ball. You're going to lose some yardage. But at the end of the day, you're still a human being worthy of a human experience. And that human experience starts with loving yourself and also receiving the love. And love is absent of verbal abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse. You see what I'm saying? Financial abuse, political abuse, educational abuse. You see what I'm saying, Keenan?
You can go on and on, Coach, and I'm totally with you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. Your mama just silenced us, man. Woo, good Lord of mercy.
Yeah, I was so glad she was able to tune in. But yeah, Coach, you know, I really appreciate the show that we do today and the insight that you gave. You know, for all of our listeners out there, you know, relationships they're hard. I mean, marriages are hard, relationships are hard. But the thing that you have to understand is this: first of all, men and women are different. But that doesn't mean that we can't get along. That doesn't mean that we can't do this thing the right way. But the main thing is this: not taking advantage of one another, not taking for granted what you have in that person, and loving that person for who they are, and allowing them to love you for who you are. So I think if we can follow some of those rules, you know, for those who have, for whatever reason, feel that they may need help, or, you know, don't be afraid to go out and get help. Coach does not talk about loving thyself. Loving thyself means to take care of yourself. And if there's issues that you're dealing with, the only way those issues are going to be resolved is if you take heed to the issues and go out and resolve them. You know, we can all, the easiest thing that we ever do, Coach, is when things go bad, when it's time to, you know, call and say this, that, and the third, the easiest thing that we ever do is point the finger at other folks. But like you said earlier, being able to look within yourself and say, no, you know, this was on me. You know, that's a difference, and that's a big thing. I enjoyed it today, Coach.
You know, I got a little saying that I've been using on myself when folk ask me, well, we ain't heard from you in a while, man. Why you ain't called us up, man? Tell us what's going on. How you doing? I said, hey, I'm standing on my own 2 feet, bruh. You know what I mean? I ain't calling people every 5 minutes. You know, when you finally grow up, you ain't got to call folk and ask their opinion all the time. You can just get on your knees, or you can look at your life and see what you're attracting to yourself, and you can say, you know what, I'm on the right track, or no, I need to make an adjustment here or there. You know what I'm saying, Keenan? I mean, You don't have to talk so much when you're healed from the inside out. But when you're hurting, you talk too much, sometimes to the wrong people, giving them the wrong information, and sometimes they further the pain that you've been through. And so I love the Keenan Lake Show because, man, you always bring, and you do it so subtly. You do it like a detective. You got to come out with your hands up saying, guilty. The Keenan Lake Show is always off the hook, baby. Yeah, but don't forget, man, they need to visit www.mydaddytaughtmethat.com, man, and go on and get the book for Christmas.
Go on and get the book, folks. My Daddy Taught Me That's the book. Go check out the website again, www.mydaddytaughtmethat.com. Facebook, The Keenan Lake Show on SIBN Radio on Facebook. Also, My Daddy Taught Me That on Facebook. And if you can't remember those two, just remember Keenan Lake on Facebook. So that's 3 different Facebooks that I gave you. Instagram, I'm on Instagram as well, and that is the Keenan Lake Show on SIBN Radio. And also Twitter. Follow me at Twitter at the KL Show. With all of that, I want to start letting everyone know that I am having my very first fundraising event on January the 18th here in Asheville, North Carolina. It's going to be a comedian show. I've partnered with Joe Green and LOL Entertainment, Laugh Out Loud Comedy Entertainment, and we're going to be doing My Daddy Taught Me That's first fundraising event. So it's going to be kicking off the new year. Comedian Tyler Craig is going to be here along with a couple of others. So it's going to be a great thing off the chain, Coach. It's going to be a really good event.
Oh yeah,
it's
Tyler
Craig.
To
raise money for these kids.
Yeah, Tyler Craig is in Atlanta this week. So yeah, it just connected in my mind who you was talking about.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
yes, sir.
We're gonna be able to have a good event and also raise money to support this the program that I'm doing as well. So folks, if you're listening to the airways of the Keenan Lake Show, please.
Hey, listen, let me
make
tell
sure
you
you get your tickets.
This is what we're going to do on SIB. And if you want to ride along, if you're interested in going to the comedy event on the dates, that's January 18th, right?
That's exactly right.
If you're in the Atlanta region or South Carolina region, particularly Atlanta region or surrounding areas, and you want to go down there, SIBN is going to be going down there with our cameras and crew to do what we do. But if you want to go to this event with us, hit us up, hit Keenan up. Keenan, give him that phone number one more time. Hit Keenan up and let him know, say, I want to ride with the coach on down to Asheville. I want to have a great time because we have to make reservations and hotel reservations and all that on the corporate level. So if you're interested and you want to be able to rent a car, we're including the rentals and everything. If you want to rent a car, you want to stay in a nice hotel and all that, go down to Asheville. Let Keenan know. Keenan will let us know how many of you respond. We'll get together, look at our calendar, Keenan, and let everybody know the deadline, the cutoff point, how much they have to have or whatever. But listen, we need to go down and support Keenan Lake over in Asheville, North Carolina. It's getting ready to go down. You got your boy Tyler Craig, who was in Atlanta this week, or at least at the time of this taping, and it's going to be down. Keenan going to have the boys there from the program. My Daddy Taught Me That program and special guests. We're going to be doing interviews, possibly doing a live radio show there, man. So if you're interested and you can make some room in your schedule, Keenan, this would be a great time to come down there and get an autographed copy of the book, shake these young men's hand that you've been mentoring, and just have some fun. What you think?
I think it'll be I think it's perfect, Coach. I think it'll be a wonderful event, and I can't wait. I really can't. To reach me by phone, area code 828-582-2261.
That's what's up, man. So I'll be looking and listening for those of you that want to support on the ground level. You want to get on the ground. You want to be on the front lines of the KLS show. You know what I'm saying? This is how you do it, man. Keenan, it's a great show, man. Appreciate you so much. Always starting the fire, man, and then staying there until we figure out how to put it out. I appreciate you so much, man. What's up?
All right, Coach. We had a good one, and we'll be doing it again next week.
All right, next week, every week, 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, right here on SIBN Radio. You've been listening to the Keenan Lake Show with Keenan Lake and yours truly, the coach. Keep it locked, keep it real, right here on SIBN Radio, you guys. See you next time. Take care of yourself. Stand by, Keenan.
Joining us today for the Keenan Lake Show. We know you will be empowered as you consider the content shared by Mr. Keenan Lake, co-host Marcus Select, and our guests. For more information about Mr. Keenan Lake, please visit www.mydaddytaughtmethat and feel free to email us at lake@mydaddytaughtmethat.com. Books can be ordered from Mr. Lake by calling 828-582-2261. Until next time, you've been listening to the Keenan Lake Show on SIBN Radio.